My girlfriend slept with her boss to get promoted, then told me it was just business. I thought my girlfriend and I were building something real. We talked about moving in together, even starting a family one day. But then, I found out she'd crossed a line I never imagined possible. She said it wasn't personal, that it was just business. But how do you stay with someone who trades loyalty for leverage? This is the story of how I discovered the truth, and what I did after the betrayal unraveled. When Claire first got the job at that sleek marketing firm downtown, I was genuinely happy for her. We'd been together for nearly 3 years by that point, and I knew how much she'd struggled to break into her field. So when she told me she'd landed a junior executive position, I celebrated like it was my win too. I even bought champagne that night, cooked dinner, and told her how proud I was. She looked me in the eye and said, "This is the first step toward something big." I believed her. For the first few months, things were fine, better than fine. Claire worked long hours, sure, but she came home with stories. Her boss, Martin, seemed to be at the center of every one. He was brilliant, a genius, tough but fair. At first, I thought nothing of it. It was natural, right? You respect the person who gives you a shot. But slowly her tone shifted. Claire started dressing differently, not just professionally, but provocatively. Not in a way I'd ever seen her choose before. She'd always had style, but now it felt curated, strategic. Like everything she wore was designed to make an impression. She started going in earlier, staying later. She would come home late on Fridays, smelling like strong cologne I didn't wear. When I asked, she brushed it off. Client meetings. Martin took us out for drinks. It's just networking. Then came the promotion. One evening, she walked in and dropped the bomb. I got promoted. Senior strategist. I congratulated her. But something in her face seemed off. Too calm, too practiced. I asked when it had happened. She hesitated. "It's been in the works for a while," she said. But that wasn't true. Just a week earlier, she had told me she was worried about job security due to internal reshuffling. When I pressed further, she got defensive, accused me of not being supportive. So I let it go temporarily. But the next weekend, I found something I wasn't supposed to see. She was in the shower, and her phone buzzed on the counter. Normally I wouldn't have even looked. But the name Martin popped up with a message preview that read, "Last night was unforgettable. Same time next week." My stomach dropped. I froze. I didn't know whether to open the message, throw the phone, or walk out of the apartment entirely. But I waited. I didn't say anything right away. Instead, I started watching quietly, carefully. Her behavior, her lies, her carefully constructed stories. I even followed her one night, just to confirm what I already feared. She wasn't going to any client dinner. She was going to his apartment. I didn't confront her immediately. I needed clarity. I needed her to say it. And eventually she did, though not in the way I ever expected. I wish I could say that something felt off before I found out, that there were warning signs I missed, or clues I could have pieced together. But the truth is, it blindsided me. It all started about 2 weeks after Lily got her promotion. We were out celebrating with some friends. Nothing fancy, just drinks and food at our usual spot. Everyone was toasting to her success. She seemed happier, more confident, even a bit distant. I chalked it up to work stress. She kept saying she had a lot on her plate, and didn't want to mess up this huge opportunity. I didn't question it. I wanted to be supportive. Then one night, I was at her apartment waiting for her to come back from a late meeting. She was running unusually late, and something compelled me to check her laptop. Partly because I was bored, partly because her notifications kept lighting up the screen. I swear I wasn't snooping, at least not intentionally, but what I saw made my blood run cold. There was a chat thread between her and her boss, Jason. The same Jason I'd met once at a company party. The same man I'd shaken hands with, made small talk with. In the thread, he was thanking her for what she did, saying how it helped him smooth things over with the board, how her dedication didn't go unnoticed. And then came the part that nearly made me throw up. "You're amazing. Let's do it again soon. Same hotel?" At first I thought, no, this must be a misunderstanding. Maybe they're just talking about some conference thing. Maybe it's innocent. But as I scrolled further, the messages got clearer, more explicit. It wasn't just business dinners or late-night project meetings. It was nights at a hotel, meetings that started professional and ended in bed. I couldn't breathe. My hands shook as I closed the laptop. I just sat there stunned, trying to figure out what I'd just read, trying to make sense of how someone I loved could betray me like that. And not just once, but repeatedly. When she finally came home, I didn't say anything at first. I couldn't. I just looked at her. her keys in one hand, her phone in the other, smiling like nothing was wrong. And something inside me broke. I asked her straight up, "Are you sleeping with your boss?" Her face didn't change. No shock. No panic. Just a slight pause before she said, "Why are you asking me that?" I told her everything I saw. The messages. The hotel. The thank yous, and the plans to do it again. She didn't deny it. She just shrugged. And then, she looked me dead in the eye and said, "It was just business." That moment, it changed everything. Not just how I saw her, but how I saw myself. Because for a split second, I almost believed her. Like maybe I was overreacting. Maybe this was just part of how the world worked. But deep down, I knew the truth. This wasn't ambition. This wasn't sacrifice. This was betrayal. Cold, calculated, selfish betrayal. And it wasn't over. Because what came next? That was where things truly spiraled out of control. After Lily told me it was just business, I think my mind temporarily shut down. My ears were ringing, and the room felt like it was spinning. I had so many things I wanted to say. Angry, messy, desperate things, but the words wouldn't come. I just stared at her, my jaw clenched, heart pounding like a war drum. She sighed, like I was being the unreasonable one. "Look," she said, like she was trying to explain algebra to a child. "You don't understand how things work at my company. It's cutthroat. If you don't find leverage, if you don't play the game, someone else will walk over you." I did what I had to do. Her tone was calm. Too calm. Detached even. I asked, "So your solution was to cheat on your boyfriend?" She scoffed. "Don't be dramatic. I didn't cheat, I leveraged an opportunity. It's not like it meant anything." That broke me. I had given her everything. My loyalty, my time, my love. I'd stood by her when she was unemployed for 6 months, covering dinners, rent, and even helping her polish her resume. I was there when she broke down from work anxiety. I held her through panic attacks, and encouraged her to go after her dream job. And now she was telling me that sex with her boss was nothing personal. Just a stepping stone? I told her I couldn't believe what I was hearing. That I couldn't stay with someone who could do this and not even feel guilty. That's when the gaslighting started. She said, "You're making this into something it's not. This is why I didn't tell you. You're too emotional. I knew you'd react like this." And just like that, she flipped the script. She tried to turn the conversation into my fault. That I was being too sensitive, too insecure, too naive to understand how the world really works. "Don't you want me to succeed?" she asked, as if her betrayal was actually some kind of noble sacrifice for the sake of her career. "I did this for us." I laughed. It was either that or scream. "You didn't do this for us, Lily. You did this for you. You sold a piece of your soul to climb a ladder that leads to nothing but more lies." She rolled her eyes. "God, you sound so self-righteous. Like you've never made a mistake." "But I didn't sell my body behind my partner's back and call it strategy," I snapped. That was the end of the conversation. I left. I couldn't stay in that apartment another second. For the next few days I lived like a ghost. Crashed at a friend's place. Didn't eat much. Barely slept. My phone kept lighting up with texts from Lily. Some apologetic. Some angry. Some manipulative. Here are a few of the messages she sent. "You're seriously going to throw everything away over one mistake? I knew you'd be too weak to handle this. We had a good thing. But clearly you're not mature enough to understand what partnership really means. If you think you're going to find someone who cares as much as I did, good luck." It was surreal. She'd cheated on me. But somehow I was being made out as the villain. And the worst part, a tiny twisted part of me started to wonder if she was right. Was I overreacting? Was I being immature? That's how emotional manipulation works. It gets into your head, makes you doubt your instincts. But the truth, when it finally settled in, hit me like a sledgehammer. No, I wasn't crazy. I wasn't weak. I was betrayed. And I had every right to walk away from that betrayal. Still, walking away wasn't the end of it. Because just when I thought the damage had peaked, Lily made one final move that left me stunned all over again. And that's where things got even darker. I thought I had seen the worst of Lily when she told me sleeping with her boss was just business. I thought her gaslighting and manipulation, making me feel guilty for her betrayal, was the peak of it. But I was wrong. A week after I left our apartment, I was slowly starting to pick up the pieces. I'd moved in temporarily with my best friend Nathan, who had been nothing but supportive through the whole ordeal. I hadn't blocked Lily yet, but I'd stopped replying to her barrage of messages. I needed time, space, distance to clear my head and remind myself that I wasn't the one at fault. But then one morning, I woke up to something that made my blood run cold. Nathan shook me awake and handed me his phone, his face pale. "You need to see this." It was Lily's social media post. A long, dramatic caption under a picture of her looking tearful in a coffee shop. The post read, "Some people don't understand how much women have to sacrifice to succeed in this world." I made a hard decision, and instead of standing by me, he left. I gave my heart to someone who clearly never really supported me. It's hard to be a woman in a man's world. #betrayed, #heartbroken, #misunderstood. The comment section was flooded with sympathy. Dozens of mutual friends left heart emojis, words of encouragement, and angry comments about how I had abandoned her during her most vulnerable time. Some even tagged me directly, asking how I could be so cold and unsupportive. She had twisted the narrative. I was no longer the betrayed boyfriend. I was the villain. She hadn't just blurred the truth, she'd completely rewritten it. I was horrified. Not only had she cheated on me, she had now publicly framed me as the one who betrayed her. And the worst part, people believed her. In the following days, I started losing connections. Friends stopped replying. Some even unfollowed me or sent me passive-aggressive messages, saying things like, "Didn't expect this from you, man." I tried explaining to a few of them what really happened, but their responses were chillingly neutral. "We weren't there," they said. "There are two sides to every story." I wanted to scream. There weren't two sides. There was the truth, and then there was Lily's curated fantasy. One of our mutual friends finally told me the full story. Lily had started laying the groundwork for her social media sob story days before I found out. She had anticipated I would leave her, and had already begun building a narrative to protect herself and destroy my reputation. She didn't just make a mistake, she executed a strategy. It was calculated. That realization hit harder than the initial betrayal. This wasn't just someone who made a poor decision in a moment of weakness. This was someone who planned her actions, then weaponized my pain for sympathy points. She didn't just want to move on, she wanted to win. At that point, I knew I had to take action, but I wasn't sure how. I wasn't the type to post long rebuttals online. I didn't want to fight fire with fire. But I also couldn't sit back and let my name be dragged through the mud while the person who hurt me played the victim. So I did something else. I gathered everything. Texts, screenshots, emails, even an old voice message where she admitted to her promotion deal being part of playing the game. I compiled it all, saved it in a folder titled Just Business. But I wasn't planning to expose her publicly. No, I had another plan in mind, one that would turn her own arrogance against her. Because there was still one person she hadn't lied to yet, her boss. The man she claimed to have leveraged. And it turns out, he didn't know the full story either. I wasn't interested in revenge for the sake of being petty, but the more I thought about how Lily had manipulated the situation, destroyed my reputation, and turned friends against me, the more I realized, this wasn't just personal. It was deliberate harm. She had sabotaged my name, and justified it all in the name of business. So if she wanted to play games with people's lives and careers, I figured she could play on a level field. One where the truth actually mattered. I reached out to Lily's boss, Mr. Everett. He wasn't a name I was familiar with beyond what Lily had said. According to her, he was the one who offered her the promotion opportunity, a proposition that, as she described it, was more like a transactional agreement than a case of office misconduct. The way she'd framed it, he was fully complicit. But something hadn't sat right with me since that conversation. She was too smug, too eager to absolve herself by dragging him into the mud with her. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this. Manipulators often lie about other people as casually as they lie about you. I sent Mr. Everett a respectful email. "Hello, Mr. Everett. I apologize for the sudden message, but I believe you should be aware of a personal matter that may affect your professional environment. I have information suggesting that your name is being used inappropriately in a narrative surrounding an alleged promotion and a personal relationship with Lily, last name. I have no interest in public drama, but I believe in truth and accountability. If you are open to a conversation, I'm willing to share documentation that clarifies what's been said. Best regards, my full name." To my surprise, he replied within a few hours. He was calm, professional, but clearly concerned. We scheduled a call. During the conversation, I presented the screenshots. Lily's own words admitting she slept with her boss to get ahead, how it was just business, and how he won't ever say anything because it would hurt him more than me. Everett was silent for a long moment. Then he sighed. He told me he had never had a personal relationship with Lily. Yes, she had recently been promoted, but it was based on her performance. At least he thought it was. The way she had portrayed herself in the office was as a hardworking, ambitious employee with a difficult personal relationship she was trying to escape. He had no idea she was using him as a pawn in her own narrative. He sounded shaken. Professionalism aside, it was clear this revelation could affect his reputation too. "I appreciate you telling me this," he said. "And I assure you, I'll be handling this internally." I didn't ask what that meant. I didn't need to. Meanwhile, Lily's social media empire began to crack. A few friends, true friends, finally reached out to me in private after hearing the other side. I sent them screenshots, receipts, the truth. It wasn't to start drama. It was to restore a little dignity after weeks of being painted as a villain. Some apologized. Others didn't. That's fine. I wasn't looking to win everyone back. I just wanted to reclaim my peace. But Lily? She was spiraling. About a week later, she posted another message. This one a lot more vague. "Sometimes people twist your words and take things out of context to bring you down. But I know my truth. And I won't let haters win." No mention of her job. No mention of me. Just carefully chosen words to maintain her image while the cracks widened. Then I heard from Nathan, who still had a few coworkers connected with Lily. Apparently, her boss had pulled her into HR for a meeting. No one knows exactly what happened in that room. But not long after, she voluntarily resigned. Her rise had crashed just as quickly as it had been built. On manipulation, exploitation, and the expectation that no one would ever call her out. It's been a few months now. I've moved into a new apartment, reconnected with people who matter, and started focusing on rebuilding myself, not for anyone else's approval, but for my own peace of mind. Lily tried to trap me with a fake future, manipulate the present, and rewrite the past. But she underestimated the one thing she couldn't control, the truth. And the truth has a way of making itself known, eventually,